Hi, welcome to Audiobook Academy. This is a self-paced audiobook. There's no need to keep an eye on things. Just pay attention. Thank you for taking the time to listen. This is a book summary of 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. In this 0 to 1 summary, you'll learn the secrets to startup success from one of the world's most famous venture capitalists, who also happens to be one of the world's most successful entrepreneurs. Nowadays, almost anyone can contribute to the funding of a startup. By the time you've finished reading this, the chances are good that you've already started your own business. The barriers to starting a business have dropped to an all-time low level. To be honest, you could even start with a laptop at your local Starbucks location. Peter Thiel understands a thing or two about the startup world. He had a significant impact on a number of businesses that you are probably familiar with. He was a co-founder of PayPal and the first outside investor in the social networking site Facebook. The most important lessons Thiel imparts in this book are as follows. Monopolies, contrary to popular belief, are beneficial to innovation. It is impossible for your product or service to sell itself. It takes time and effort to build a successful and profitable organization. The first lesson is that monopolies are actually beneficial to innovation. When most people think of the term monopoly, they envision a massive and evil corporation that is squeezing the weaker competitors out of existence. Alternatively, they may think of a board game. A monopoly, on the other hand, is not always a bad thing. The majority of the time, a company has simply discovered a way to be more effective than their competitors. If a company is so good at something that no one else can duplicate their results, that isn't necessarily a bad thing for the rest of society. If you look at Google for example, the company has a monopoly on the search engine industry. Apologies to the 3 people who are currently accessing this site through the Bing search engine. However, while Google's monopoly is detrimental to competitors, it is beneficial to the general public who use the search engine as well as the company itself. In fact, having a monopoly on a market is a surefire way to ensure continued growth in the future. You have a significant market share and therefore the ability to set pricing standards, as well as greater purchasing power. In addition, let's be honest. Why should someone who wants to try and do something similar to Google but not as good as Google have an equal market share with Google? This is why the existence of monopolies encourages the advancement of technology. If we take Google as an example, if a competitor wants to take over the search engine industry, they will have to innovate and come up with a better method than what Google currently uses. Secondly, no matter how good your product or service is, it will never sell itself. Regardless of how impressive your market research is, and regardless of how compelling your product/market fit is, your product will not grow legs and sell itself. Create marketing and sales strategies that will ensure that your product reaches a large number of people. This will help you get your product into the hands of the right people. No matter how small your company is at the outset, make sure that investing in sales and marketing is a top priority for your company. So often, people spend too much time trying to make their product perfect, and not nearly as much time marketing it as they should be. Despite this, there is no such thing as a perfect product, and no matter how good your product or service is, without customers, you are wasting your time and resources. As a result, begin concentrating on sales. However, this does not imply that you must act in the manner of a sleazy rip-off artist wearing a cheap suit and selling door to door, but rather that you must ensure that your product reaches those who require it. Lesson 3. It takes time and effort to build a successful and profitable company from the ground up. I'd like to begin this lesson with a story from my own life. I am confident that you will be able to relate to it. I've met people who are just starting their business and they'll claim that they've identified a gap in the market and are going to be the next Amazon, Airbnb, Netflix, or Uber. I've heard this claim before. Do you have any idea how many of these individuals went on to found the next Uber or Amazon? You probably guessed it. None of them, in fact. The reason for this is that these monster corporations did not start out as monster corporations, and you should not expect to start out as a monster company. Take, for example, Amazon, which began by concentrating solely on the sale of books. Once they had secured a foothold in the book market, they expanded into the CD and DVD markets. From there, they continued to expand into corporations that will most likely one day control the entire planet. The point is that you cannot expect to be the best at everything right away. You can, on the other hand, be the best at what you do. Find a niche target market that you are interested in and set out to be the monopoly in that niche market. From there, you should aim to continue growing and monopolizing new markets. My personal takeaway from this: the concept of monopolizing a small market and then expanding from there appeals to me. While it is unlikely that you will become the next Amazon, there is something compelling about the thought process of dominating a small market. Make a list of your current target market and set a goal for yourself to dominate it before moving on to the next one. Moreover, this activity is not limited to large corporations. Consider the following scenario. If you're a real estate agent in a small city, you might consider attempting to monopolize waterfront homes in a specific suburb. You'll establish yourself as an authority in that specific niche, and you'll be able to expand from there. Thank you for listening in Audiobook Academy. Please don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. See you in next audiobook.